The sports world didn't just beat Ronda Rousey. It did something quieter, something more permanent. It stopped saying her name. For 9.5 years, no calls, no coverage, no conversation. So what happens when the person they erased walks back in? She didn't ask for a rematch. She didn't post a comeback video, she didn't announce a return tour. She just showed up. Netflix built the stage, most valuable promotions sold the tickets, the world tuned in expecting a spectacle. But here is what no one is reporting. This was never about a fight. Ronda Rousey's last fight before this was in December 2016. She lost in 48 seconds, and then the conversation ended. Not because she retired quietly. Because the machine that builds athletes into icons simply unplugged her. As documented by MMA Fighting, while other fighters got legacy coverage, career retrospectives, and Hall of Fame discussions, Rousey's name disappeared from the rotation. 9 years of institutional silence. An analysis by The Athletic highlighted the absolute void: no major broadcast deals, no commentary roles, no mainstream sports documentary. For nearly a decade, nothing. And silence in this industry is not neutral. Silence is a verdict. It tells the audience she is no longer relevant, she is no longer real. It tells sponsors don't call, it tells promoters don't book. Silence is the most efficient way to erase someone because it requires no announcement. But here is what the silence couldn't kill. The armbar. The technique that made her untouchable in 2012, 2013, 2014, it doesn't age, it doesn't forget, it doesn't need coverage to stay sharp. She wasn't rebuilding. She was waiting. On May 16, 2026, broadcasted live to a Netflix audience of millions and immediately verified by ESPN, Ronda Rousey submitted Gina Carano by armbar in 17 seconds. The clock didn't lie. 17 seconds. That is less time than it takes to read a headline. Less time than the algorithm needs to decide if your content is worth showing. Less time than it took the world to forget her, divided by every year she was gone. Here is the mechanism. The sports media industrial complex does not retire athletes. It reassigns them from competitor to cautionary tale, from champion to comeback story that never comes. And most people accept that reassignment. They internalize the silence, they stop showing up. Ronda Rousey didn't. She walked into the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, 9.5 years after they pulled the plug and, in her own words to the press, a ghost was banished. The ghost wasn't her past. The ghost was their verdict. And she broke its arm. They stopped saying her name because they thought the story was over. She wrote the last sentence herself. Subscribe, we breach the silence every single week.